Before I start, yes, I am aware that the Patriots 2022 NFL schedule was released pretty much a week ago, and I haven't made a video about it. Now, again, I have thought about making a video for the schedule, and I pretty much finished the audio for the podcast, and I was halfway through editing the actual video, but I made the choice to just scrap the whole thing. I tried re-recording a bunch of times, and I just simply couldn't get what I wanted. And so for now, I'm just pretty much going to hold off making a schedule release video or just a schedule related video until maybe late July or August. And this is simply because at that point in the off season, most of the changes the dramatic changes that have been made are going to be over, and we can really get an accurate representation of what the Patriots schedule will look like. And so hopefully in that episode at that point, I won't have to hypothesize constantly about some of the games, especially, if you look at the Patriots-Browns game, we don't know if Deshaun Watson's going to play in that game because of his upcoming possible suspension. And so that game is really a game you can't predict. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold off and make the video instead in sometime in August or probably late July. And so yeah, that's just something I wanted to get out of the way. We can get into the video. Now, we do have some news to discuss regarding the Patriots coaching staff changes. Now, we know that Bill Belichick isn't exactly the most open person in the world. And in regards to the coaching staff assignments, Belichick talked about how he wasn't exactly big on titles, which certainly ruffled some of the feathers of certain fans that just want to know who the Patriots' offensive and defensive play callers will be this season, as well as maybe some assistant roles that we'll be seeing as well. And while we don't exactly have the names of the proper offensive and defensive coordinators, we do have some confirmation of the assistant roles this year, and the changes are certainly interesting. So for now, we know a couple of roles. Returning coaches Matt Patricia and Joe Judge will be coaching offensive line and quarterback respectively. Troy Brown and Ross Douglas will share receivers. Vinny Sunseri will be coaching running backs, and Nick Haley will work with the tight ends. Now, previously, Belichick has hinted that Judge, Patricia, Troy Brown, and Nick Haley will all be working with Mac Jones and potentially mentoring him, and at some point, one of those four coaches will end up being the offensive play caller. So now, let's break down what this means for the Patriots offense. First, Joe Judge and Matt Patricia are now going to be coaching offense officially, which is differing from years prior when you know that Joe Judge was once a special teams coordinator and Matt Patricia was once a defensive coordinator for the Patriots. Now, starting with Patricia, I do like him working with offensive line. Patricia worked with the offensive line in 2005 with the Patriots, and so he definitely does have some experience coaching in that position. Not to mention that he has been a versatile chess piece for the Patriots, coaching different parts of the offense and also defense. So, yeah, I do like the choice for Patricia going offensive line, as he kind of just fills a void that he has experience in. Now, Joe Judge being the quarterback's coach, again, there's nothing to really analyze particularly in the Patriots' assignments for these guys, but I don't know. I just feel like if Joe Judge went back to coaching special teams, then I do feel like the unit would have been more cohesive than it was last year and the year prior. But, with Joe Judge coming in as the quarterback's coach, again, I know that he wasn't fully responsible for Daniel Jones' underdevelopment, but at the same time, when you look at, again, where he coached for the Patriots, he has the most experience coaching special teams. But at the same time, Bill Belichick does seem to have a ton of trust in Judge, and so maybe it'll be a good fit. You never know. Plus, when you factor in the fact that Josh McDaniels took a lot of Patriots assistants with him to Las Vegas, guys like Bo Hardigree, and so now when you look at it, the Patriots are quite thin in terms of offensive coaches, and so Joe Judge, I guess, does make sense being the quarterback's coach. Now, Vinny Sunseri at running backs coach likely means that Ivan Fears will be retiring. The longtime Patriots running backs coach has been with the team for around 25 years, and so considering the greatness that he's been able to produce with guys like Damian Harris, James White recently, I bet he had something to do with Jonas Gray popping off against the Colts back in week 14 or week 15 in 2014. And so yeah, if Ivan Fears does retire, I'd be super happy for him. But if he does choose to come back as a co-assistant for maybe one last ride, then I'd be open to that too. But I think the general consensus around the Patriots organization is that he is going to likely retire. Now, finally, the Patriots haven't exactly released any news based on the defensive side of the ball in terms of the coaches, though it definitely does seem confirmed that Brian and Steven Belichick will be working safeties and linebackers respectively. And so my only thing that I have to say about the defensive side is that I really just don't want to see Steven Belichick working the defensive play caller role, just because, especially in the beginning and later parts of the last season, we can all agree that the defense was just downright atrocious. And so maybe Steven Belichick does get back that role again. Maybe it goes to somebody else. You never know, but yeah, I'm just kind of hoping that the defense does improve this year, and whether that just means that Steven Belichick does improve his coaching, or just means that the Patriots move in a different direction in terms of the defensive play caller, that we are going to see. But yeah, that about wraps it up. There are certainly still a lot of uncertainties for the roles, and I am hoping that us fans and even the media does get more insight going forward about this. There are a lot of coaches coaching different roles than before, and honestly, I don't know what to expect. My main hope for this season, if all else fails, is to see Mac Jones develop. Even if the Patriots go 7-10 or even 8-9, I just want to see improvement from Mac Jones, and I'll be happy with that. Also, quickly before I end this episode, what happened to Bill O'Brien? I mean, we heard a lot about him in the beginning of the offseason, but then he kind of just disappeared from the rumor mill. I mean, we did see him in the Patriots offseason workouts, and so maybe he comes in as a surprise late in the offseason. If he does, I will be so happy, because even though he destroyed everything in Houston as a GM, he is still a great coach, and he has experience as the offensive coordinator for the Patriots back in 2010 and 2011, when the Patriots had one of the best offenses in the league. Now, again, the Patriots offense is still much different than it was that year, but at the same time, I have much more faith in someone like Bill O'Brien being the offensive play caller than someone like Joe Judge, or potentially even Matt Patricia. So yeah, give me Bill O'Brien, please. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about the Patriots coaching assignments, whether or not you disagree or agree with me in the comments below. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.